Welcome back. This is my 2012 BMW 550i, and this is my 7-month ownership report and my review on its reliability. Oh yeah, and it is broken. So I'll just go ahead and get that out the way right now. It's broken. And watch till the end of the video. Okay, don't click off. Watch till the end of the video. I'll tell you exactly what's broken on this and what you can expect if you are looking into buying one of these, a V8 BMW, or actually really any BMW that is from the modern era, from 2010 to 2016. Right, so the 2012 BMW 550i has the N63 engine. Now, that is the notorious N63 engine. It's a twin turbo V8 making 400 horsepower. That's a lot of power, and it is great when it runs, but apparently it sucks when it doesn't run. Now, this particular car was very well taken care of by its previous owner, so you really need to, look into the history of this car if you're going to buy one, of any BMW or really any European car, anything like an Audi or Jaguar, anything. It really needs to have been well maintained. It shouldn't have been owned by someone who didn't know what they were doing. This car in particular happens to be a stick shift, so that's really rare. Apparently these are very rare. They're very hard to find. I went on cars.com and looked up like a BMW 550i stick shift, and I only found like 4 of them nationwide, and I happened to find this one locally, so that's a pretty big accomplishment. I mean, I don't know how I managed to find one. I just got lucky, but I found it locally right here in my own neighborhood. So when I bought the car, it had I think it had about 85,000 miles or so. So now it's at around 90,000 miles. So I've put about 5,000 miles on it. So I don't really drive it too much, but anyway, I do change the oil once every 2,500 miles, okay? And I'll tell you why. See, these engines are very sensitive to oil, okay? So like about 75% of the complaints with these engines, these N63 V8 engines, can be solved by simply changing the oil very frequently and keeping the oil inside the engine very pristine, okay? Very pristine synthetic oil. That's what they need, because the turbos are lubricated by the very same oil that just sits in the oil pan, okay? So if you go above 10,000 miles, which is what a lot of people were doing, if you go over a 10,000 mile oil change interval, it will basically, the oil will start to turn black and it'll start to sludge up, and that will start to gum up the turbos and gum up the turbo oil return line, and that's where the leaks can start, and that's where you can also have stuff like stretched timing chain because of very old, poor quality oil that has lost its viscosity rating, and also because of there's a couple of other issues that can be caused, like the Vano system can malfunction. So really 75% of the issues with this car can simply be gotten rid of by changing the oil very frequently, keeping the oil inside the engine very pure. Now there's a couple of other issues that you can't really fix by changing the oil frequently, like there's a couple of issues with the fuel pump and whatnot, but again, that's rare, and usually that is not hard to fix, okay? It's not a very expensive fix to fix the fuel pump issues and whatnot. But for the most part, this car so far has been as reliable as a Toyota, right? I mean, for me at least, it starts up every time I get in. It's got 0 warning lights on the dash, which apparently a lot of other YouTubers say is a rare thing to see a BMW with no warning lights on the dash. Yet I have no warning lights on the dash. It's not failed to start a single time. It's not given me a single warning light. It's not malfunctioned. It's not gotten any issues. I've done the oil change twice, trying to keep that oil very pristine inside the engine, and so far that it's doing its job. It's working. And this car, it's no joke. It is fast. I mean, it is fast. It's got 400 horsepower, and then the moment the turbos kick in, it's like a jet engine. It sounds like a jet engine. It just takes off. I mean, it's like an Autobahn rocket. It's great for the highway. Not as good for city driving if you've got a stick shift, but I mean, it's a lot of fun to drive on the highway. You can get going really fast, and you just fly past everyone like they're nothing, basically, with huge V8 with twin turbos under the hood. And that's one of the reasons I got this car, because it was well within my price range, because I bought it when I was still kind of a poor college student. I recently graduated, and at the time I was really wanting to get the Lexus ISF, which is a Toyota. It's a Lexus, and it's highly reliable. And I was looking at it like a 2007 or 2008 Lexus ISF. So I'm not really I'm not too into BMWs. I usually tend to be more into JDM stuff. But this one, you know, I mean, I bought this one because the Lexus ISF, because they're so reliable and because, you know, they can produce the same amount of power as this. They also make 400 horsepower, even a 2007 model, which is old. So I was looking into that, and even that is, there's not too many of them, and they're priced pretty high. They're priced at around $35,000 or $36,000 or higher. And the market realizes that because they are reliable and they are bulletproof pretty much, since they're Toyota products. So you are going to pay a premium for them. You are going to be forced to kind of, I mean, you're going to pay more than double what I paid for this, for an ISF. So I realized the ISF is just too overpriced because it's reliable and people like that. Okay. And the reason it's reliable simply is because it makes 400 horsepower, but it doesn't have turbos. It's naturally aspirated. They just increase the engine displacement. So this is a 4.4 liter engine, and then the ISF is like a 5 liter engine. So a bigger engine means you can get more power out of it, and plus what they have is double injection. So then they have just 2 injectors per cylinder. So there's double the fuel going in rather than just 1 injector per cylinder. And then if you have double the fuel going in, then they can make the, you know, make up the difference without turbos. Because turbos usually decrease the reliability of any engine. It's just automatic. There's more moving parts, and they're not known to be the most sturdy contraptions, but still, this car has been great. And so if you're looking at buying a V8 powered BMW, I would say that, you know, go for it, but just look at the Carfax and make sure everything lines up, and look at all the maintenance records. The one that previous owner of this car, he was a stick shift driver, and here in the US everyone knows that a stick shift driver is going to be almost always a car enthusiast, and I could see that in the Carfax. He had been doing maintenances a lot, like every 5,000 miles, getting a full maintenance, oil change, everything done on this car. So it's got a good history. It's been well taken care of. It's always had pristine oil inside the engine, so nothing is gummed up. If you can find an example like that where it says regular oil change is done, that's a good sign. That's what you want. And if you can find one, I mean, you may not be able to find a stick shift, but it's okay. You can find the automatics that have also been well taken care of. Also, these cars are known to be able to accept something called a JB4 tune, which I've not bothered tuning it. I'm not gonna mess with it. I want to leave it as stock as possible because I want to get the most reliability out of it. But I know that they can accept something called a JB4 tune, and you can increase the power from 400 to 500 horsepower. It's really cool. I mean, you can get a lot of power. It's like an excellent bang for the buck. I mean, for less than $15,000 or around that price, you can get a 400 horsepower car. And the reason I really wanted the stick shift one, because when I saw it, I had to have it, because, you know, I've been hearing a lot of stuff in the car community that this is basically like your last chance to drive a real car. And that's because, you know, everything is getting increasingly electrified nowadays, and everything is sub 8 cylinders. I mean, forget about a V10 or anything. Everything is becoming twin turbo V6 or a turbo 4-cylinder. And I mean, they can still keep up with the V8s, but it just isn't the same. You know, the sound isn't the same. It just isn't as exciting to drive a V6 or a 4-cylinder than driving a V8 twin turbo. So yeah, I went ahead and saw the opportunity. I mean, there's a stick shift car that is connected to a twin turbo V8 motor. You know, I mean, there's not too many of those cars other than the Corvette and the Mustangs. You know, a V8 with the manual, that's becoming a dying breed right now. But that's what they consider to be like a so-called real car. So it's kind of like the last chance to drive them before they become all electric and possibly illegal. So I'm not sure when that will happen, but I mean, I could tell it's probably coming. So I guess enjoy it while it lasts, and that's what I intend to do. So I did mention that this car was broken, right? So I mean, that's the title of this video, my car is broken. But I'm happy to report that after 7 months of ownership, nothing mechanically is wrong with the car. Nothing is mechanically broken. Nothing wrong with the drivetrain, nothing wrong with the engine, nothing wrong with the transmission. Of course, the stick shift, those are bulletproof anyway. You know, it's still as reliable as can be. I will show you what is broken in a minute. All right, so here we have our BMW 550i engine, at least for the F10 generation. It's a 4.4 liter V8. It's called the N63 V8. And I mean, at least the presentation that BMW has done, it looks great. You know, they've really presented this engine in a really nice way. These engines can be found in just about any BMW that's between 2011 and 2016. And it's got a 50i designation. So any 550i, any 650i, 750i, or 750Li, whatever it's called, and then some of the SUVs like the X5 50i or X6M maybe. I think that might be the S63 engine, but some of the SUVs also carry this engine. And this engine received a lot of hate, I think, in the car community. I've seen a lot of haters about this car, at least this engine. So far, I mean, I've had no issues with it. I think it's it pulls like, especially when it runs, or I mean, I don't know what it's like when it doesn't run, but so far it pulls like a freight train. It pulls like a jet engine. And I mean, it genuinely sounds, when you go past 3,000 RPM and the turbos kick in, it sounds like a jet engine. I mean, it's a lot of fun to drive this car, and I mean, to be honest, I don't think you can get more bang for the buck other than this. I mean, I paid less than $15,000 for it, this car, and you know, it's got a twin turbo V8. It's got a stick shift. It's got a nice luxurious interior with mood lighting and heated seats. You can turn on the heated seats, and you know, every feature in this car works so far. Not a single feature does not work in this car. I mean, I really applaud the previous owner for, I guess, taking very good care of this car. I guess that's just the stick shift guys, you know. The stick shift owners, they take very good care of their cars, and because they're usually almost auto enthusiasts, at least here in the US. You know, they're almost always automotive enthusiasts, and that's also one of the reasons I bought this car, because I was betting that a stick shift owner, a previous owner that was a stick shift driver, knew what he was doing, and that's what I saw when I checked the Carfax. I saw a whole bunch of oil changes and a whole bunch of just maintenances. Every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, he was taking it in for a full maintenance. That's all it takes. That's all it takes with BMW. Just keep maintaining them, and they'll take care of you for the most part. And so, you know, when you're looking into buying one of these, I would say go for it, and don't, you know, completely write them off just because of all the bad reviews. It just depends, and it just depends on who the previous owner was. If it was a soccer mom, if it was, you know, just some guy who views it as a transportation, someone who doesn't know anything about cars, this car is not for beginners, I would say. It's not for someone that views the car as simple as transportation, you know. If you want that and you want a BMW, get the 528i, the 4-cylinder, or get the 6-cylinder. Don't get the 8-cylinder. This is not for beginners, I would say. As long as someone who knows what they're doing used to own the car, and you look at the Carfax, and you see a whole bunch of maintenances on it and no accidents or anything like that, usually these are actually pretty solid. I think it looks great. And I did mention that this car is broken. Yeah, well, I'll show you what's broken. Nothing mechanically is wrong with this car. I will show you what is wrong with this car. Alright, so my little clickbaity title of this video kind of, I guess, maybe drew some of you in. But this right here is what's broken with this car. I'd say about 1 month ago, this shade, this rear sunshade, got stuck open. It got stuck in the up position. It was working when I bought it, but I don't know, I guess it might need some grease on the joints, because it is now stuck in the up position. It tries to go down, but I don't know, it just struggles, and then it just gives up essentially. And I mean, it's still not cheap to fix. I mean, I was quoted about $900 to have this fixed, because apparently they have to take the entire back seat out in order to replace the parts for this. But other than that, mechanically, this car is in great condition. It is not, you know, breaking down. It's not malfunctioning. It's not failed to start a single time. It starts up as reliably as a Toyota. I mean, so far it's been as reliable as a Toyota. So, I mean, hey, I don't have, after 7 months of ownership, I so far have not run into any serious issues with the BMW 550i, with the infamous N63 engine. It's been great. It goes fast. I've taken this car really fast on the highway. I won't say how fast, but It's like a rocket, literally like a spaceship. You can zoom past everyone with pretty much no effort while having your heated seats and everything. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on any further things with this car, but so far so good. I can show you my dash here, not a single warning light on. It's idling very nicely. It's very quiet too. I can rev it a little bit. I don't know if you guys can even hear it, but yeah, I rev it up a little bit. Okay, so here's a little interior tour I'm going to give you guys. Here's the tour of the interior. See, it's got a stick shift, 6-speed manual, and I don't know if you can see in there, 3 pedals. So that's the dying breed right there. You got a push button start. This is a keyless entry vehicle. You've got your climate control vents. I didn't really like how they cheaped out with the vents. I mean, they do feel really plasticky, but still it looks nice, at least from a distance. But when you touch it, you do feel it's a little bit, plasticky. I love how they've like integrated this screen into the dash of the car. It flows with the lines. That is really nice. Okay, the modern ones, I mean, it's like a stupid iPad that's like stuck to the dash, which I don't like. It doesn't look so sharp. This looks sharp. It looks really nice. They've done a good delivery on that. You've got your basic AC controls, your fan controls. You can change the temperature, change the mode of you do recirculate. It's a basic interior. You've got runs very smoothly. I feel very little vibration in here. It's a very smooth running engine, the V8. You get smooth power. You got your headlight controls there. You got heated seat controls here. The 2 front seats are heated, the back ones are not. But some of the, I think 2013s and 2014 models actually have heated rear seats as well. You can look at the back. There's my little tripod. And you got a pretty decent interior, leather seats. I like this car at night also. Right here, you get this orange mood lighting right in that little groove in between the door and that little metal piece right there. You get a really cool orange, I guess, no, if you want to call it mood lighting. Looks really nice. Very nice interior. I think, I mean, there's a couple scuffs and scratches here and there, but for the most part, it's been a very well kept interior. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Nothing much more to say about this car. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. I'm kind of new to YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in